Who should you hire and in what order? This question comes up a lot, and it doesn't matter if you're 2 million in sales or 20 million in sales. What I'll be sharing with you in this video is going to deconstruct how you've thought about hiring. It's probably going to challenge some of the mainstream advice you've heard when it comes to hiring who and in what order. Teaser alert, no. Sales is not the answer. There's a more strategic approach to doing this, and that's what I'll be sharing in this video, because I'm on a new mission to create the most powerful thinkers in the roofing industry. Listen, the game is getting more sophisticated than ever before, and the roofing game of the future is very different than today. That's why I wrote an entire report on it. It's the 2025 to 2028 Roofing Market Report, future trends that every $2 million plus company must know or get left behind. You can download a free copy right now in the link in the description. And now let's jump right into this video. All right. First, we need to just get a groundwork of understanding your role as a CEO or a visionary. And even if you're in a leadership position, maybe a manager, sales manager, general manager, the same thing applies. Now, I took this advice from a gentleman named Jordan Peterson, which, by the way, many people don't like. But for me, I don't just throw out all of the messages because I don't like the messenger. So whether you love him or you hate him, I look for wisdom everywhere and how I can apply it to live my life mission. And this advice was really profound. Jordan Peterson, when I was at a high-level mastermind, he was asked, what has attributed to your success? And he responded with, do the things that only you can do and you do best. Do the things that only you can do and you do best. So for you, what are those things? Make a list and you will likely find 5 or less things. And I'm going to challenge you on this because some folks are still running production. They're still managing their own email, managing their own schedule, and they're working 16 hours a day regularly. But if you look at this and say, is there any possible way that someone could do the thing other than you? And the answer is yes, then it's not on the list. So managing all of your email, your calendar, answering the phones, these are not things that only you can do. For an owner or a visionary, here's a few items on the list. Number 1 is likely visionary work, creating the strategic vision of the company. Number 2 is auditing your own company, your sales process and your systems to create the process moving forward. Number 3 is leadership and coaching, and that starts with communication. There is no culture unless it starts at the top down. This is something that only you can do. And another 2 things on the list would likely involve marketing or being the one that calls the shots on your marketing, because the reality is your roofing company is like an ultra high performance sports car. It's like a Porsche GT3, but without one thing, it doesn't run. And that's fuel. And marketing is the fuel to your company. And there are 2 things, Joe Polish says this, and I love it. He goes, there's 2 things that an entrepreneur should never let go of. Their marketing and their checkbook, which leads me to number 5 on the list, which is your finances. Auditing your company financially and making sure that you're profitable and hitting your financial benchmarks. Now, there might be other things that you do. You might be incredible at spotting talent, finding talent, recruiting, leading the team, whatever it is. But if you create the list of the things that only you can do and you do best, that is what you spend your time doing. And that is the foundation of where we go from here. So let's move into this. Okay. We want to create our foundation first. Now, what I mean by creating a foundation first is that a lot of folks, like the common feedback that I see on the internet is hire salespeople. Salespeople should be your first hire. And I call garbage on that. No. Here's what I see happen on the regular. And just as a snippet, I have spoken all across the United States and Canada and the Bahamas to roofing companies from coast to coast, dorm to retail. I've trained tens of thousands of sales reps, and I'm currently serving hundreds of roofing companies in 44 states in Canada in RSRA. What I'm sharing is not theory. I see it. An owner who's growing says, what I need to hire is salespeople because I'm too busy and then I'm running production, blah, blah, blah. They hire the salespeople, they plug them in, but guess what they don't have time to do? Manage them or train them, and then they churn. We need a strong foundation first. So what I want to ask you is this. What is your bottleneck? When we apply constraint theory, which to define constraint theory is the process of continual improvement, we identify a bottleneck, and from that bottleneck, we allocate all our resources to fix it, and then we move on to the next one. So I'm going to give you a true to life scenario that may resonate with you. If you're an owner that feels too busy and you're working 16 hours a day, your bottleneck is likely the lowest value tasks in your business that you could pay someone $30 an hour or less, sometimes as low as $4 or $5 an hour if we're talking about a VA, to free up your time to do higher level things. This is administrative work, reviewing your email and your calendar, or putting together material orders. All of that stuff is a bottleneck. And if you were to say, okay, the bottleneck for me is all this administrative work, then what's your first hire? The first hire is simple. It's an admin. An administrative person is the answer. That should be every company, in my opinion's first hire to free up the owner's time. Now, after that, if you're already, let's say, at 20 million, 30 million or higher, even if you're at 5 million, high-level thinkers put a high value on their time and their thinking abilities, their creative power to grow the company. And they know that as a true visionary entrepreneur, a high-level thinker, your thinking skills are what drives the company forward, and you need more of that. So hiring an executive assistant to manage your inbox, manage your calendar, run lower level appointments for you, and train someone to think like you think will suddenly free up a tremendous amount of time and creative power. Now, only after we lay this foundation should you begin thinking about the other roles. Now, again, I said sales, and I'm just going to bring this back up again here. Sales is not the answer. People are like, oh, okay, great. Well, I had an assistant. Now I need to fill in for salespeople. And I challenge that. The answer is no, don't do that yet, because hiring someone in production is likely a lower cost position that increases the output of your company, increases the quality, and provides a foundation where you, the owner or manager, can actually spend the time investing into the salespeople. And if not, it's okay, because what makes you more money, production or sales? Oh, sales. So I'm going to hire a production person or team or runner. And by the way, our production department, when I was in the business, started with just one person in the office, to one person in the office and one person in the field, to one person in the office, one person in the field, and then runners, to then runners plus a box truck that was stocked so we could supply jobs, plus someone being able to do touch-up and callbacks and repair work, et cetera. And then the team grows from there. So when you look at this and you identify your bottleneck, production is one of those things that once we have that system going in our product, which is installing roofing, dialed, now we can then shift our attention to hiring salespeople. Once we hire salespeople, the next question is, do I hire a sales manager? Let me give you a big word of caution on hiring sales managers. Sales managers come into play. By the way, it's one of my favorite roles ever. And when I filled that role, it was one of the most rewarding. You're helping people create an incredible future for themselves. It's life-changing and it's so fun. And yes, I tease and call it adult babysitting because it is. But many people make the mistake of hiring a sales manager too soon. In my opinion, if you don't have 7 sales reps, you don't need a sales manager. That's the magic number, is when you get to 7. Otherwise, the sales manager ends up being hired by an owner who doesn't want to do it, and they don't know what system they're managing, and it just doesn't work out, and the overhead is way too high. So in an ideal world, you get to 7 sales reps, then you get the sales manager in to manage the team. And in an ideal world, it may not be totally ideal, the sales manager is the one that is running the team and not selling themselves, okay? It can distract them from their duties. I will get pushback on this. You're welcome to share your thoughts in the comments below. But I believe that in an ideal world, sales managers are not selling. May not happen overnight, but that's the ideal. Then and only then, once we have this strong foundation, we can start hiring for higher level roles, like a general manager, maybe a CFO or a fractional CFO. This is when we look at expansion and thinking about other locations, but only after we have the foundation. So what is your number one bottleneck that you have right now? What is it that only you can do and you do best? And once you pinpoint these things, you're going to know your clear path forward that works for you, because your company is unique. And if you want to learn more about hiring and the scary future of hiring in the next 3 years, jump into this very next video, because you need to know.